Well, friends, another federal judge just stated the obvious, that the insurrection was a Donald Trump production. Let's talk about that, because justice matters. Hey all, Glenn Kirshner here. So friends, I spent a good part of today in federal district court in Washington, D.C. watching two trials. The Proud Boys seditious conspiracy trial. Members of that organization are on trial for trying to violently overthrow the government, trying to violently stop the certification of Joe Biden's election win. And I watched some of a second trial, which is part two of the Oath Keepers case. Remember that a group of Oath Keepers have already been convicted of a seditious conspiracy and other charges for their attack on the Capitol on January 6th. This is part two. This is a second group of Oath Keepers who are presently on trial. And I couldn't help but think to myself during the course of the day that I wouldn't be there, sitting in federal court watching these trials, had Donald Trump not told all of his supporters, his base, his lackeys, come to D.C. on January 6th will be wild. And had Donald Trump not then told them at the Stop the Steal pre-insurrection pep rally, you have to fight like hell or you won't have a country anymore. Now go to the Capitol and stop the steal, stop the certification. And they did. And what continues to amaze me, confound me, disturb me, is that we have two co-equal branches of government who have been virtually yelling and screaming that Donald Trump is responsible for the insurrection. You have the judiciary, judge after judge, has been saying in their findings and in their opinions, this was a Donald Trump orchestration, in so many words. You have the legislative branch, the January 6th House Select Committee, yelling and screaming that Donald Trump is the one responsible for launching the attack on the Capitol. This was Donald Trump's insurrection. And yet you have the third branch of government, the executive branch, the Department of Justice, the only branch of the three branches of government that has the power to charge Donald Trump for the crimes that we all know he committed. And yet they don't. The executive branch, the Department of Justice, the FBI lags behind the other two co-equal branches of government who have been screaming from the rooftops the need to hold Donald Trump accountable for his crimes. And now it happened again today. Because today, another federal judge in Washington, D.C., this time Judge Colleen Kollar-Kotelly, issued a written opinion in a case talking about why a particular defendant attacked the Capitol on January 6th. Let me set it up a little bit. Judge Kollar-Kotelly, who I actually know fairly well professionally. I tried an arson case in front of her many years ago. I also handled a capital case, a death penalty case, in front of her involving the murder of an FBI task force member who was a Maryland state trooper. So I've had cases before Judge Kollar-Kotelly. She's a fantastic judge, great jurist, fair, even-handed. And she actually tried a case sitting as the finder of fact. What do I mean by that? Well, there was a case involving a series of misdemeanor crimes for somebody who unlawfully entered the Capitol but didn't assault police officers. And in that misdemeanor case, the judge sat as the finder of fact. There was no jury. So sometimes you try a case to a judge. We call it a bench trial. And in felony cases, you try those cases to a jury. So Judge Kollar-Kotelly, was the finder of fact. She tried this case and made the decision on guilty or not guilty herself. and she issued a written opinion setting out her findings in the case after a 3-day trial. I was first alerted to this today when I saw a tweet from my friend Kyle Cheney at Politico, and here's what he tweeted. Just in, federal judge delivers a January 6th guilty verdict for defendant Danean MacAndrew, but makes clear she, the judge, views MacAndrew as having followed President Trump's instructions. Well, needless to say, when I saw that tweet from Kyle, I went and printed out Judge Kollar-Kotelly's opinion in the case to see what she had said about this defendant following Trump's orders when she attacked the Capitol. And I want to read the opening salvo of the judge's opinion, the first 2 paragraphs, because I think it nicely frames what this defendant, Danean MacAndrew, did. And then I'm going to jump to the end of the opinion. It's an 18-page opinion, and read 2 short passages about what the evidence showed Trump's responsibility was. But first, here is the factual backdrop. Clad in a MAGA hat, wearing a red scarf, and wielding a Trump flag, the defendant, Danean MacAndrew, knew she was not permitted to be in or around the Capitol on January 6, 2021. That knowledge, like a snowball rolling down a ski slope, accumulated that day. Her suspicions undoubtedly started when, contrary to her testimony, in other words, the defendant testified and lied, in the opinion of the judge, contrary to her testimony, she passed area-closed signs affixed to strewn fencing. If she did not know at that time her presence at the Capitol grounds was unlawful, her awareness must have been stronger when she clambered over dismantled bike racks and snow fencing even closer to the Capitol building with their own area-closed signs. If, after seeing those signs, she did not know her presence was unlawful after those signs, then surely she knew she was unlawfully present when she encountered a line of armored Metropolitan Police Department officers marching past Capitol Police officers guarding the Capitol building behind bike racks affixed again with area-closed signs. Assuming, for the sake of argument, that she still did not know she was not permitted on Capitol grounds or in the Capitol building, she must have known when she arrived to the Upper West Terrace and met 4 individuals she testified she knew to have been pepper sprayed. Or, to enter the realm of the fabulous, perhaps it was only when she entered the Capitol through a broken door, an emergency siren blaring. These signs, and others detailed below, undoubtedly endowed MacAndrew with the knowledge that her presence and protest in the Capitol was unlawful. Nevertheless, she remained. And then, after the judge said the defendant's presence was part of the flood waters that drowned the Capitol in insurrection and destruction, Judge Kollar-Kotelly went on to say the following. At the Stop the Steal rally, then President Trump eponymously exhorted his supporters to, in fact, stop the steal by marching to the Capitol. Defendant marched to the Capitol, having followed then President Trump's instructions, which were in line with her stated desires. The court therefore finds that defendant intended her presence to be disruptive to congressional business. And Judge Kollar-Kotelly concluded her findings as follows. Beyond a reasonable doubt, Danean MacAndrew knew on January 6, 2021, that her actions at the Capitol were unlawful. Every step of the way, from the western boundary of Capitol grounds, to the West Lawn, to the Upper West Terrace, to the interior of the Capitol itself, she saw sign after sign that her presence was unlawful. Nevertheless, Heeding the call of former President Trump, she continued onwards to stop the steal. For her participation in the insurrection of January 6th, the court finds Danean MacAndrew guilty on counts 1, 2, 3, and 4. This defendant, Danean MacAndrew, followed Donald Trump's instructions, heeded Donald Trump's call to stop the steal, and doing what Donald Trump told her to do, instructed her to do, directed her to do expressly and repeatedly, she ended up being convicted of 4 crimes. The insurrection was a Donald Trump production. It was Donald Trump's insurrection. The federal judges know it. The members of Congress know it. The people know it. You know it. I know it. Anyone who cares to assess the facts honestly and accurately and apolitically, everyone knows it. These are Donald Trump's crimes. These are Donald Trump's democracy-busting crimes. And 2 of the 3 co-equal branches of government are there. And one needs to get there. The one with the power to indict. The one with the ability and the opportunity to actually save our democracy. So DOJ, let's get to it. Because justice matters. Friends, as always, please stay safe, please stay tuned, and I look forward to talking with you all again tomorrow.